This week on Ignition, we find out if the Genesis Coupe gets the enthusiast car formula right.
The Hyundai Genesis Coupe has never been a beautiful car, and with this latest update, Hyundai's ensured that it won't be anytime soon. But that's not the most important part. What is that the V6 under this thing's hood now makes 348 horsepower. Now that's more horsepower than you get in a Nissan 370Z. And the power comes from the addition of direct injection, which also increases torque to 295 pound-feet. Now that's nice and all, but what I'm more interested in is how this car behaves. You see, this is the classic sports car recipe, one all enthusiasts should enjoy. It has a big engine, it has 6-speed manual transmission, and it's rear-wheel drive. On top of that, the car behind us also has a Torsen limited slip differential, larger anti-roll bars, firmer spring rates, and larger front and rear brakes. It's called the Track Edition, and I think we can put that name to the test. You know, it's been so long since I've launched a rear-wheel drive car with a manual transmission, I've almost forgot how to do it. Good thing the Genesis Coupe makes it easy. You dial in about 2,500 RPMs, and just dump the clutch. Right out the wheel spin, grab second. That chirp is good. This transmission sometimes can pause in between shifts, like just there. 0 to 60 comes in 5.2 seconds. So we enter fourth at 100 miles an hour. Quarter mile goes 13.8 seconds at 102 miles an hour. Respectable performance from the Genesis Coupe. All right, 60 to 0 braking. Let's see what we can do. Pedal feel pretty good, dances around quite a bit. Our best stop from 60 is 112 feet. Okay, traction control off, stability control off. Figure 8 test is go. All right, so we're beginning the figure 8 test with the Genesis Coupe. And this car is interesting because it does things I really like and it does things I really don't like. What I don't like is that it understeers heavy on turn-in no matter what you do. You can go in fast, go in slow, you can trail brake, you can just chuck it in. It's gonna understeer no matter what. What I do like is when you start getting aggressive with the throttle, it'll start to slide. And it slides gleefully, just like that. So controllable, so much fun to do. It makes you go slower because you want to keep sliding everywhere. So not too great when you're setting a lap time, but a lot of fun when you just want to show off. That's good stuff. Now we have the test data, but that only paints part of a car's picture. The rest? Well, I've come up with 4 criteria that I believe makes an enthusiast car special.
The first is visual appeal. You should want to look at your car. When you walk away after you park it, you should want to take a last look before you have to go wherever it is you need to go. And while I like the majority of the Genesis, its proportions are nice. Its rear 3/4 looks like a proper rear drive car. But I can't understand the front end. It looks like what happens when you stick your head out the window of a moving car. And those vents in the hood, they're fake. On balance, I give the Genesis a B-. Secondly, the car should sound aggressive.
Now I really admire the way Hyundai's tuned the exhaust on this V6. You get all the growl you would want, but not much of the drone on freeway speeds. Even downshifts, you get a nice burble when you match revs. I gotta give Hyundai sound design A. The third most important thing are the driver inputs. Your steering, your shifter, your pedals. They should all engage you, make you want to drive harder, faster, and better. Now while the shifter throws nicely, I don't miss shifts too much, it does feel a little rubbery. I'd have to give the driver inputs on whole a C+. Now the fourth one is the rate of lateral slip during high yaw events, or basically what we like to call drifting. The Hyundai enters slides so easy, it's so controllable, it's almost hard not to do it. You get a lot of understeer, but when you roll in the power, it'll do that until you run out of tire. That's what's fun. I gotta give the way this thing drives an A+. The Genesis Coupe is almost there. It gets 90% of that enthusiast car formula right, and I'm sure that with a few tweaks, it'll be in the front of the pack. Tweaks like a revised suspension, tweaks like a new shifter. But I don't mean to sound disappointed. I'm not at all. I'm happy this car exists. I'm happy cars like this exist. I'm happy that in this day and age of eco-sensitivity, you can go out and buy a manual, rear-drive, simple sports coupe for not a lot of money. Whether it's this, the 370Z, the upcoming Subaru BRZ, or the Scion FRS. You know, cars like these show that we are living in the rebirth of the enthusiast era, and that's something we should all be happy about.